Satnam, yogis, yoginis, and lovers of sounds and letters and secret meanings. Today we have one of my favorite letters to explore, the letter K. It's going to be an exciting journey. The K is packed with lots of interesting things, and we can see a very strong resonance with some numbers. So let's go straight into that. The letter K. Now we are going down. We have been going up through the bija sounds of the chakras. Now we're going to go down through the body. Yeah, we started from Syasha, Sa. We started from the bottom and then Lava, Ra, Ya, Ham. And now we're going to go K and G and going down, which is following the way the Sanskrit alphabet is built. So we're going to go for the K and then the G and so on. And the letter K is called a voiceless velar plosive. Voiceless because there's no vibration of the throat. The contrast would be the voiced velar plosive, which is the G. Yeah, the G will be the next one coming. But this is voiceless. So if you do k, 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 and you put your hands on the throat, you will notice that the vocal cords are not vibrating. So k, 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 k. If you do the vowel ah, then it vibrates ka, yep, but it's the ah, not the k, that is vibrating. So there is no vibration in the vocal cords. That means that the sound is just snaps, k, yeah? And then it's a velar, which means that it happens in the velar, in the deepest part of the mouth, where we have this little bell falling down. That's down there. And the following letters we will do in the following videos will be coming forward in our mouth. So we're going from the velar position, cerebral, dental, going forward. But this is happening in the back of the mouth. This is very important for the meaning that this sound creates. And it's also called plosive, which is kind of explosive. K, k, means that it cuts the flow of air and then releases it. That's what the plosive means. So this sound that happens in the back of the mouth, it's very much a feeling of something inward or something in, something deep inside. And therefore it's going to bring the feeling that something is happening inside somewhere. So we're going to go back to this concept of containers, and the mouth, sometimes it behaves like a container, sometimes it behaves more like a tube, and we are throwing the air through, yeah, like throwing through, yeah, that the th sound, we will get to it very soon. In another video. But this time the K closes. So it's about a sound that is closing, and therefore the container is closed. So you start to hear the K sounds, and you recognize that we start exploring the words which start with this sound. Then we will see the words that maybe especially contain it at the end. And what happens when the K sound is at the beginning, and what happens when it is at the end. So this K sound creates this enclosure, this container, and it is closed. So let's go for that. Let's explore words from English that reflect this. We have cages and a case. Sometimes we say a closed case, yeah? A casket. That's really close, isn't it? A kiosk, yeah, which is a closed place. You know, you're in a park, and they have these little kiosks where they sell newspapers and magazines. They are like an enclosed little circle, and they sell from there. A kit. A sack. This one has the K at the end, but we will reserve this more for later on, but sometimes they come up, so I will mention it, like a sack or a casket, yeah, like for a body, to put a body inside. So that's also the K sound, but it's more towards the end. A pocket, and a packet, and a package, and a trunk, and a cask. Yeah, these are all later. The K is more towards the end. We will see that there is a difference, but I'm just trying to convey now that the K is very often in words which have this feeling of containers. Sometimes the container is at the beginning, like a cage. Yeah, you start from a K sound, meaning you start from the something closed. Sometimes the K comes later, like a trunk. Yeah, you put something and then you close it, sort of. No, so the feeling is a little bit like that. Or a cask. Yeah, a cask is something that you have open. You put a body inside, you close it, and you don't open it again, right? Then you inter it, you put it under the earth. So cask will have the K at the end because that's a final feeling of closure. That's like that. But at the beginning can be also like a cave, yeah? Okay, so the K at the end of the word is like a lock, which is going to be in the back, yeah? A lock in the back of the mouth. And K in the front is like referring to this closing of the space. So the close, I'm already saying close a lot. Words like close or lock, and to pack something or to cork. Cork has the K at the beginning and the end. That's a double K. And to keep things. So to keep it. It's not just about preserving something, but it's to keep it. Yeah? And when we have a container and it is locked, you want to open it, right? And this is the thing about the K. K. In the moment that we do the sound, the vowel sound that comes after the K, we are trying to open it. If it's at the beginning of the word, if it's at the end of the word, then it's locked, and we cannot open it yet because we need something that takes something closed and opens it, like a key, right? So the K sound is going to close, and something that is going to open it, it will need the K also at the beginning, yeah? But sometimes we cannot. We don't have a key. So what do? We try to cut it or crack it, right? Like cracking a code, yeah? Or something that is cryptic, that is hard to crack, yeah? We sometimes just knock. Sometimes that's enough for it to open. Maybe we are allowed to open that, and we just need to knock. But if it doesn't open when you knock, then we kick it, we smack it, we clank it, we spank it, we hack it, we pick it, with picking tools. Yeah. So this you will notice the case at the end. So it's relating to a lock, something to a lock. Yeah. So you're hacking, you're picking, and these words also relate to when you have a plosive at the end, that like the K, right? The hack or the kick to try to break, the plosive becomes explosive. So you're trying to explode something that is closed. You hack something, yeah, or you try to break something. So that K at the end is going to be like the final result of that word is to hopefully break that code. Yeah? We may need to peck on it or nick on it, yeah, prick it, flick it, yeah, all these things. But the thing is, we wouldn't need to do, also, let me put all this in context with numbers. So container, something that is contained generally, I mean, we can see it in through different numbers, but let's say that the number 3 is a triangle, right? And triangles are the first shape that can hold things, can lock things, let's say. It's like a jail, like a prison. Yeah, the triangle is like a prison. So you contain something and then you put the lock. Now, 3 and 7 would be the prison, kind of like the container as well. The container can be in other numbers as well. And you need something to open that. Now, when we go into words, we are talking about passwords. But you see that that's not a K anymore. But password would be more into the number 5. What we need in the 3 and 7 is a key. And the key is the 1 and 9. And there's only one key which will open it, generally. Unless you have a master key. That's the 9. All right? So that's the 1 and the 9. And so we have the container aspect of the K. That's the 3 and the 7. And the K related to something locked that we are unlocking. And that would be the 1 and the 9. So the implication here is that the K sound lives in the realm between the 3 and 7 and the 1 and 9. And those of you who have started to study numbers, you will recognize that that's the movement of a sequence. 3, 1, 4, 2, or in the other realm, 7, 9, 6, 8. If you don't know too much about numbers, don't worry about that. We will go deeper into numbers and deeper into the 3 and 7 and 1 and 9 in other courses. At the moment, we are just touching lightly on what's happening between sounds and numbers and try to get a feeling of how do they relate and connect. So we're going into this 1 and 9, yeah? And actually the breaking, the trying to hack it and breaking it, that you can see it also like the 4 and 6, like breaking structures of the 3 and 7. But in relationship to a lock, then we need the key that goes more into the 1 and 9. Now, when you do have the lock, the code, yeah, or the key, or maybe you have clues, right? Then you have access to the secret. Now, K is in the middle here in these two words. Access and secret means that there has been a lock and you've passed through the hole and you get to the other side. Yeah, you have the access to the secret. And the secret is a secret knowledge. Knowledge is an interesting word. It starts with K. We don't really pronounce it, but the K is there. And it's like the kernel of the secret knowledge that has been contained in that closed casket, yeah, that is that locked box, yeah. Box, it will be with an X, but X is like K and an S, X. So it's a combination of the K sound with another S. Maybe we will do it some other time. Okay, so who has access to this key or this code or clues? Well, this is reserved to some people. Okay, so the K sound is relating it to the 3 and 7 and the 1 and 9. 3 and 7, if you know about numbers, 3 and 7 is the number of the pyramid. And the pyramid is about status and hierarchy. So only those who are at the top of the pyramid can access certain benefits. And that's what we call the false king. The ego sits in the top of the throne room in the pyramid. But the actual kings are 9. That's the 1 and 9. So again, the K moves between the 3, 7 and 1 and 9. And you don't really know if it's like a false king or it's a real king. But in a way, it has to believe that there is that they are kings. So who has access to this secret knowledge? The kings, the queens, the Kaiser, the Khan, the knights, the keepers, and some clerks and custodians as well. Yeah, so they keep the secret knowledge. And if you are a king, you are given some secret code, and then you can access that information, let's say, or treasure, whatever it is. So you have to be either the top of the top, yeah, the 1 and 9, and let's say the 9, if either you are in the 9, or you are a member of very exclusive clan or a crew, or is because of your kin or your kindred, or you're in the right clique or club or coven, or maybe cult or cabal or coterie. You're either the right social class or caste, or you are in the right echelon of society, the right rank. So you see how many of these K words are about being in the top of this pyramid. So again, going to the 3 and 7, or into the 9, being the actual king. And if you are or you are not, it will depend, it will make it so that you either can or cannot access the information. So can or cannot is, okay, the K is going to determine whether you can open that lock or not. And if you can, you are one of these, part of the club or the crew. And if you cannot, is because the information is close to you, maybe because you are not in the top, but in the bottom of the pyramid. So the K really reflects this aspect of two caste society. And actually, we see this kind of polarity and duality very often with some words. We have seen it with the V, with the letter V we saw in the 2 and the 8, and we saw it with the letter S and the duality that reflects with the snake. And we will see it again with other words, like with other sounds like the B and the D. When there is this kind of duality, some tend to go up, some tend to go down. In the D, for example, tends to go down, and it's depressive and demoralizing and down, yeah? But with the letter K, yes, some of them will be just commoners and we don't want to give them the secrets, but the K is a lot about being at the top. But yeah, if you are not having access, then you are considered the commoners or just kids or maybe clowns or klutzes or cooks or lackeys. Lackeys don't really have, it's like the custodians don't really have the power, but they are given access to the information, and the lackeys, okay, they have to obey and they have no control. Control, K, is a game of control, isn't it? Within the pyramid, who are on the top have, give orders to those in the bottom, and the ones in the bottom need to obey. So it's a pyramid of control. We can see very strong 3 and 7 here, vibrations. Okay. Let's go back to the K being this secret knowledge, right? And to have access to the secret knowledge, we ask questions. Ask questions. Now, I mentioned when we were doing the W how beautiful in the English language that we don't really look for the answer as much as wonder about what could it be, and that's why the what becomes why and when and how and who is slightly different because it's huh, but the W reflects this wondering quality of the English language, which makes you, be a little bit more poetic. But actually, if we look at, I mentioned this when we were doing the W, at romantic languages like English and Catalan and French and Portuguese, Italian, and when we look at also others like even Russian or Arabic or Proto-Indo-European, from which many languages come, like the Sanskrit, you will see ka, kim, kwa, like asking the questions of who, what, and where. Que, quién, cuándo, in Spanish, who and what, who, and when, I asked as well. So there is this K sound very much associated with a question mark. In Japanese even, you can just, you can say a sentence, and then if you finish in ka, you're asking a question. If you don't finish in ka, you're not asking a question. So, nomimasu ka? Are you, do you want to drink? Or are you drinking? Sorry. So, anata wa nomimasu. You are drinking. Anata wa nomimasu ka? Or something like that. Yeah, nomimasu ka? Do you want to drink? So you just take the same verb, you add the ka at the end, and it becomes a question. So very interesting that the ka, it's about questioning, and that's because you want to access that knowledge. And that's the way to access knowledge. You have to ask the right questions. Very thematic for many movies, right? And there is some point in the story where the hero is asking the wrong questions. And so when they have finally access to the wise person and they say, you are asking all the wrong questions. And they're like, what do you mean? It's often a turnaround in the story. But yeah, okay, so this K determines who can and who cannot access the information, and maybe you have to ask the questions, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be given the information. And sometimes it goes because of the caste and the different systems of hierarchy, but sometimes it could be just simply that they don't like you. They don't like. And 3 and 7 is the realm of likes and dislikes. That's what the ego likes to do. And if you are liked, if they like you, you are one of the insiders. And if you are not, if they dislike you, you are going to be an outsider. So when we have somebody in the group, in the clan, in the club, in the coven, inside, your attitude towards them is going to be with the letter K. You're going to be kind. You're going to keep them safe. You're going to be caring for them, cuddle, cradle, contain them, maybe even kiss them, right? So that's how much you like them, right? Now they are part of your team, they are part of your club, and now your attitude is that you like that person. So we can see here, interesting, the concept of the kiss, right? Which is something very connected to the heart. And then we find it connected to this aspect of K linked to the 3 and the 7 and the 1 and the 9. And yeah, it makes you think, yeah? But then there is the S at the end, which we know is very sensual and seductive, and is the snake, yeah? So the kiss, which can be also the kiss of death, yeah? If they dislike you. But yeah, if they dislike you, the K becomes a kick in your butt, yeah? Or they knock you down, or they crack you down, yeah? They give you clout, they kill you, they clobber you, they cut you, yeah? They give you the cold shoulder, cold, or they whack and shock you. Yeah? 1 second. Oh, yes. Yeah, many of these K sounds are not just explosives, but they have some movement, like cluck, knock, crack, and clobber, and cut. It's just a very clear, precise movement. Just like the K is very concrete and precise sound. So yeah. The K sound is a very hard sound. There is a few of these sounds in the English language. We will have also a certain hardness to the letter T. But the K is very particular because it's so deep in the throat that the hardness, it's quite special, and it carries some weight as well. We will see that. And so in the way it keeps some in and some out, there is this hardness of the K. And now we will see how when we put the K at the end of the word is when we are making this something fall, yeah, with this hardness that you are locking them and throwing the lock on them. So lock is a word, ends with a K, because you don't want anything to escape. So a rock, a block, you brick, yeah, the clock, the dock, the stock, a stick, a chunk, a hunk. Yeah, there's something about closing, but it's about closing with finality at the very end of the word. And yeah, and if we were talking about this, the ones who are inside and the ones who are outside, those who are accepted or not accepted, those who are liked and disliked, those who are in the lower class and disliked will be treated like animals. And there is a lot of K sounds with animals, like clucking, quacking, croaking, cackling, barking, oinking, and so on. There's so very many of these. But yeah, very interesting that the K sound will be associated with this, the commoners, yeah, the clowns, those at the deep end. Okay. So let's continue exploring the K at the end of the word. I already said quite a few, but let's continue with that. The K is a small plosive, a small explosion, and it's at the back of the mouth, and it's closing it, and because it's at the back of the mouth, it's going to be like hard to swallow. It's like down, and down means heavy as well. So we're going to see that this hardness and heaviness is going to be projected into the meaning of the words, like a fleck or a flake or a brick or a chunk or a tick. You know, a tick is something small. It's like an insect. It's just a little thingy. But when you see a tick, it's like, oh gosh, what's happened now? You can see this is am I going to get infected? Am I going to have all these diseases that they convey? It's a heavy thing. A tiny little animal, little insect, and yes, yet it's a heavy thing. So ticks, little thing. And we will see with the letter T, the T is a very small sound. It's very precise. We will see when we do it, because it's in the front, tick. So it goes from the front to the back. Oh, hard to swallow. Oh my God, I got a tick, right? So it goes like that. Let's think about the letter K for a moment in the way that we write it for a second, like I often do. We have all the others here. I mean, this kind of looks like something blocked or locked. Blockage, by the way, could be 4 and 6, and lock can also be 4 and 6, yeah? But look at this shape. It's so very triangular. There is triangles here, triangle here, triangle here. We find this in the beginning of the third sound the Mul mantra. Yeah, ek, onkar, k, k, k. So the three, the triangles. This is the realm of the triangles, and something, it's pointing to one point. Yeah, one point, little point, and this point could be locked. And I actually like the Sanskrit symbol for this because it really reflects the locking aspect. It's like this, and then it's like, so it's like a lock, and it could be also a key, or a key opening the lock. You can see like click, like turning around and opening the lock. Cluck. You can almost say it like, okay, I got the right password to open this, yeah, the right code to open the lock. That's kind of funny. But you see, there is this, yeah, this K sound. Now, what does that mean for the words which imply form? Not the form of the sound, of the letter, but words which imply form or shape, which have the K sound. Well, especially when the K is at the end, but some of them will be at the beginning as well, they somehow become curved. And I suspect it's not just because of the K, but in most of these will be because of the R. And we will see that the letter R tends to round things and tends to turn things, yeah? You can go stale and stable, or turn, right? Even straight, we will see this in the T and the R, yeah, when we get to the T. But there is no vowel between T and the R, so it goes straight. But if you put a vowel in between, you are turning, or you are torn, right? So there is torque applied. So you see that the R, especially with a vowel before, is going to be creating turns. The R itself is just going to create movement. But with the K, this movement can also be crinkly, or, you know, crooked, right? And you can see the crinkly aspect of the K. Yeah? It's spiky and crinkly. So we can see some curved words like a crook, a hook, a kink, an arc, a neck, a back, a cloak, a cork, curl, and crank. And even some of these you can detect how the 1 and 9 likes to be straight, but somehow they want to be straight, but they are finding themselves in this curved position, like the neck. The neck wants to be straight. The back wants to be straight, but is often like curved. So we need to put some effort into keeping that straight. It can be, because of the curve, it can be like a corner, and it can be like a nook, or like a block of houses, yeah? Or like a brick, or a dock. And this idea of the crinkly that I mentioned before, I had it here as well, I forgot. There is crinkle and crackle, creaking sounds, wrinkles. Knuckles are also, you can see a little bit of the case shape there. Kinks and crooks and craze as well. So the shape, the very shape, will be associated to something crooked or crinkly and turning, like curved, but maybe wants to be straight, like the neck and the back, especially when the K is at the end. Now, those who have a curved back, yeah, and they have been crooked, and maybe it's because of all the years that they have been accumulating. And this is something that goes into the number 9. Number 9 is the last number of all, and therefore is old age. And we're going to see old age and age-old words here. Something archaic and antique. Remember, we are looking now at the K in the middle of the word, not necessarily at the beginning. Yeah, it can be in the middle. It can also be at the end. If it's an antique, it's not at the end. It's very close to the end. But if it's at the end, maybe you already creak and you already crack. Yeah. We have also crones and crocs and craggy and knackered, to be knackered at the end of the day. And old people generally have wrinkles and crinkles in their faces, which reflect the age. and sometimes they are relics. And an all is like an old hill. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the key at the end is like this. It's at the very end is locking something up. And when it's related to the 9, it's about the H as well. So you reach the very end, and then that's the K, which is also, sometimes it takes a whole lifetime to get to the knowledge, or to get to be, invited into the clan, to have access to the secrets. So that's the K, very exciting sound. I hope you enjoyed that one. And very clear resonance with the numbers. And we will continue. This is the voiceless. We will continue with the voice, meaning the G on the next. The G is really incredible. You will see it's going to be spooky. We should have done that one in Halloween with all the ghouls that are going to come out, but we will see that in the next video. This week I only do the one stream. I don't think I will stream on Thursday because I'm traveling, but I will come back next week for the letter G. Thank you very much, everyone. If you enjoyed, don't forget the like. It's important for us, for the channel and for the videos, and share them with others, and subscribe. And if you are interested in contributing, you can also become a member. And I appreciate everyone who is already that. Thank you so much. Until next time, until the G. Sadhana.